It is quite obvious that Nnamdi Kanu will never drop the agitation for Biafra. If the federal government of Nigeria is asking a man who has been discharged and acquitted by a very qualified court in the Federal Republic of Nigeria to drop his agitation, or they are still harboring the intention to keep him in incarceration. It simply means that the federal government of Nigeria is absolutely lawless, because no one individual is above the law. 7 judges sat, and after each one of them had verified the case, came out boldly and said that this man has committed no wrong by simply asking for a nation where he thinks, where he believes himself and his people will have their destiny fulfilled. He has done no wrong. So, if this federal government being led by Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing that, it is absolutely wrong. It is absolutely illegal. It is absolutely inhuman. My very self, I believe that Nnamdi Kanu will never drop the agitation of Biafra. Thank you.
Now, following this development, an Enugu court gave a ruling in favor of the indigenous people of Biafra and slammed the federal government for proscribing IPOB as a terrorist group, that IPOB are organized group seeking for independence, and self-determination is the right of all humans. But after that ruling, it have not been challenged. There is no stay of execution on that ruling in favor of IPOB, that they are not terrorist group, that the government of Nigeria made a very costly mistake by proscribing them. None of the Committee of Nations have recognized or proscribed IPOB as a terror group. So, condemning the action of the Nigerian government, yet people are still describing them as proscribed IPOB. Could it be as a result of hatred, or they don't want to comply with the directives or court injunctions?
Nigeria is a theater of comedy. Every day you see comedies within the peripheries of Nigerian politics. Nnamdi Kanu himself called Nigeria a zoo, as a company of animals. And if you look at the behavior of our so-called educated people in the political arena, you cannot but agree with Nnamdi Kanu. How can a court in this country call IPOB a terrorist group? What kind of a court is that? What kind of a judge is that? What kind of a justice is that? Who is that learned gentleman who will call a peaceful organization a terrorist group when evidently there are terrorist groups in the north? You know, East is a peaceful place. I've always said it. God lives in the East. So you can always find peace in the East. We Easterners are Christians. And by our Christian ethics, we are taught to be peaceful. We are Jews. By our Jewish origin, we are taught to be peaceful. So a group cannot rise up in the East demanding for sovereignty in the face of evident marginalization here, and you call that group a terrorist group. that person need to have his head checked. Thank you.
Well, thank you. You said Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, of whom you know, can never change his mind,
He can never
as
drop
he has
his
maintained his composure or position. However, others are exasperating, despite the subjugation, the incarceration for more than 4 years now. He says he's not going to back down.
I don't see him backing down at all. He won't back down. He said we have gotten to the Rubicon. We have gotten to a state where there is no going back. You see, Biafra is the right of Biafrans, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. Delay is not denial. Let them keep delaying. But one day, what God has proposed will come to pass.
Nnamdi Kanu will probably spend another Christmas ushering him into the new year in detention again. Anyway, this is the reason why we have been talking about Nigeria criminal justice system. Now, if you have a problem, you see the reason why a lot of people are not agitating or opposing the government or doing the work of opposition, I know is because of the criminal justice system. Because any country that you can't get justice, people are always afraid because people can tell you that go to court. They can even hold you, take you to court, ask the judge to do what they want to do. That is what we have been seeing. So, the much anticipated release of Nnamdi Kanu is like a dream shattered for this year. I don't think Nnamdi Kanu will be, there is any probability at all to release him in this year any longer. So everything about his court case we'll be talking about next year again. That is terrible. But that is not just the problem. And I really want to ask so many questions because I don't trust so many politicians. I know some, but I don't trust so many of them. You see the level of politics that a lot of politicians use Nnamdi Kanu to play this year. Let it not happen next year. Now, this is what I mean. Every day you have been seeing a lot of movement for Nnamdi Kanu. Why all this movement? Nnamdi Kanu, no court has ever come out to say you are guilty. We have had some court judgments about Nnamdi Kanu. If there are 4 court judgments about Nnamdi Kanu, believe me, it is 3 over 4. 3 court judgments, including the appeal court, said he's not guilty. Now, the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in Nigeria, was able to entertain Nnamdi Kanu's request. And Supreme Court made us to understand that Nnamdi Kanu, number 1, did not jump bail. Number 2, those who kidnap him from Kenya, that is against the law. So that alone supposed to, indicates that no court will have the jurisdiction to try him. Because on what basis are you trying him? On what law? And I don't just understand. So that is the question people are supposed to be asking. And now, I have been monitoring the court premises during the, they don't video it, during the, the judgment days of Nnamdi Kanu case in this year. I was expecting where the legal counsel to federal government on Nnamdi Kanu, like Ando Ejimako, will come out to say that the judge is asking questions. And the question I was expecting the judge to ask is, who owns the plane they used to bring him to Nigeria? How do they bring him to Nigeria? Who are the people who kidnap him to Nigeria? Because these people are supposed to answer for their crime. These people are supposed to be facing court judgment now. And that could lead them to jail. Nigeria and its criminal justice system. You see why this fight, Delefaro Timi is involved. It's not a solo fight. It's something that concerns everybody. Because if government is not good, it's just a minor something. If you have a good judiciary and you have a bad government, then you are good to go. You are good to do whatever you just want to do. But in a situation where the judiciary is so corrupt, anything the government do, they will back them up. And that has led us to the situation we are right now. It's very unfortunate, but we cannot continue like this.